Hi, my name is Jacqueline, and this presentation is about how Inside Consulting goes about their recreational service reviews. Inside works with local government in these core areas: transformation, service delivery, operational improvement, and organizational development. Our services have been designed to assist local government improve the delivery of their services, and we focus on understanding what matters most to the various different stakeholders. Our services are underpinned by the following tools, practitioners, and our focus on value. So we use capability assessments, diagnostic tools, operational models, coupled with experienced industry practitioners and subject matter experts. This means that we look at key metrics that define your business landscape and operational effectiveness, your people. We look at performance, processes, systems, and structures, and we have a clear focus on bottom line results for you. In terms of service reviews, we look at internal service reviews and external service reviews. And for internal service reviews, we look at risk management, program and project governance, cultural audits, organizational development, procurement and supply chain, strategic communications and community engagement, asset strategy, and IT strategic reviews and business case reviews. In terms of external service reviews, we look at library services, waste services, water and storage, maintenance, capital assets, your event services, how you manage your recreational services and facilities, open space maintenance and property services, transport and access, of course, and so on. We understand that local government is incredibly complex, and local government is one of the largest providers of services for the community. Typical key priorities are frontline service delivery, social and community outcomes, recovery and infrastructure programs, revenue and funding arrangements, governance and accountability, and of course, community development. Underlying all of this is always continuous improvement objectives. How you deliver your services, cost savings and income generation, your service level optimization, and improved efficiency and resource usage. What we look at constantly is how is it being delivered, to what standard, and at what cost. Examples of recreational and outdoor spaces include indoor and outdoor aquatic facilities, sports grounds and pavilions, play spaces and skate parks, parks, gardens and reserves, and historical sites, used by all manner of community members, families, seniors, children, people with physical disabilities, people with cognitive disabilities, members of all ethnic groups, and tourists. In terms of some of the objectives that Council has in terms of meeting the community requirements, is things like creating spaces that are well designed, attractive, welcoming, safe, accessible, aligning their services with community needs and aspirations, ensuring that environmental benefits, such as protecting biodiversity, reducing urban heat, regulating air and water quality, and making sure that people know where the location of these services and facilities are, and their availability, and of course, delivering programs and services to promote healthy, engaged, and livable communities. In terms of Council's operational objectives, typically, we understand that you plan, design, and manage public spaces. Safety is top of mind. You have to meet statutory and specific requirements based on a range of needs. You look at tenancy arrangements, licensing, leasing, management of Crown land. You draw linkages between sport and recreation, youth services, community development, disability services, and the changing needs of the community. All of that has to be delivered looking at cost-effective investments and ongoing maintenance of your assets, and of course done in an effective and efficient financial management and administration. Some of the challenges for recreational services from a general perspective, typically a council is constantly dealing with limited financial and staffing resources. There's a shortage of space for facilities, changing community requirements, changing usage patterns, making sure that there's access to facilities, transport for all, including disabled access, increasing pressure. They have to deal with increasing pressures on financial and staffing resources, changing population demographics, population growth, and ongoing reliance on grants to provide the services. And of course, the age of the infrastructure has big impacts. Building facility or plant may not comply with the current building code, may not meet occupational health and safety standards or industry guidelines. And then when you flip over and look at aquatic centers in particular, you've got the age of the infrastructure, again, accessibility, rising operational costs, trying to meet the needs and expectations of the community. Sometimes there's not enough, and other times perhaps there's more available because there's an increase in the number of private swimming pools, as an example. Then there's the ongoing increased capital investment to keep up the maintenance of these assets or to build new infrastructure. And many councils have multiple pool sites that spread out over large geographic areas. In general, a review of the service is exactly what it is, but what we are focused on is constantly trying to identify potential service delivery improvements. What a service review isn't is it's not about implementation, but it is looking at performance improvement and identifying areas that may be improved. And it's also looking at measuring costs and identifying opportunities for savings. The purpose and benefit of recreational service reviews. So in general, our approach is we're trying to identify opportunities for, we review the role and relevancy of recreational services, the strategic framework, the technology environment, the pressure on finance, staffing, service level adjustments, alternative modes of service delivery, improved resource usage, the cost, the direct and indirect cost of the service, and of course, availability of funding. All of this is done to deliver what the community requires. So what's the benefit to the community, to their health, their fitness, their well-being? Increase in infrastructure project means that there's economic development, and then training and civic and community engagement. In terms of the operational outcomes, the focus is always looking at delivering long-term environmental and financial sustainability, including addressing any infrastructure funding gaps, ensuring that the services remain relevant and aligned with the wants and needs of your local communities, and ensuring value for money and operational efficiency in service delivery, all the while building a continuous improvement culture. In terms of how we look at reviewing the model for the delivery of services, the top line talks to the how the services are delivered, and the bottom line talks a little bit more towards culture, resourcing, the capability of staff. So do you need additional training, that sort of stuff, and the behavior of the various different key groups. So we look at the purpose of the service and the way the organization delivers the service, the division of activities, integration and coordination mechanisms, formal procedures for measurement, reward, and resource allocation. And then in terms of staffing, it's the culture of the organization, the fundamental beliefs, concepts, and principles, the core competencies and capabilities to deliver the services, the resources, the demographic, educational needs, and of course, the typical patterns of key groups such as managers and other professionals. In terms of our approach to how we go about these reviews, we look at the overall budget or cost of service, the degree of discretion over the service, internal and external customers, the potential to generate expenditure savings, the potential to generate additional revenue, continuous improvement opportunities, then potential to adjust the level of the service, the potential to improve efficiencies, alternative methods of service delivery, the potential to improve environmental and social outcomes, the potential to reduce duplication of services, and the potential to grow or commercialize the service. Please note, with all of these, we can extrapolate on it further, but for the purpose of this presentation, I've kind of kept it high level just to give you a feel for our understanding of the particular service and our approach to it. So we look at the priority for the review, we make sure that we define the scope and objectives of the review, we review the levels and standards of the service, your stakeholder engagement, benchmarking. We look at the organization structure and key cross-functional processes. We make sure we define and determine the enablers and requirements. We determine the resources used to deliver the service and the organization structure. We assess the results gained from the service. We analyze the full cost of delivering the service, including funding, fees, and charges. We review the key performance indicators, and we rank opportunities for improvement. So in terms of the types of tools that we use, things that you're all familiar with, such as desktop reviews, stakeholder analysis, interviews, workshops, risk assessment, and a plethora of different types of surveys as required. And of course, the key objective here is to look at what you're doing now in terms of the service and your desired state, where it is you want to be. We're looking at the services and the community. We're looking at the demographics of your community, the engagement with the community, the benefits to the community, and then how council goes about representing the services to the community. Community satisfaction, of course, and the relaxation, health, and fitness of the community is paramount to the Council for Recreational Services. So we look at access, performance, aesthetics, serviceability, and the perceived quality. That's of course broken down, as you can see, into those 5 boxes. So access to council buildings and facilities, disability access to premises, community satisfaction with the facilities, the delivery, the volume of service delivery, the investments, how it's presented, cleanliness, visual clarity with things like your aquatic centers, your color, temperature, pH, and so forth. So in terms of serviceability, it's really understanding and responding to the community's needs and ensuring that you have deep and broad knowledge on serviceability, which is reflected by the frequency of visitation to state parks and outdoor and recreation facilities. So we gather information on from the various types of stakeholders. We look at any interviews, desktop research, documents from your internal stakeholders, your external stakeholders, and your community stakeholders. And we will be guided by you to who we should be talking to for a recreational service review. This slide talks to a typical project team structure, the types of stakeholders that we need, internal and external, from the council, and then of course our team and how we work together and when we work together. This slide just talks to, at a high level, how we go about our projects. The next slide will give you a little bit more detail. So we first establish the building blocks or the framework. Then we establish the project, detailed project plans. We gather all our information through documents, interviews, workshops. We analyze the information that we've got on the services and how it's delivered. We deliver a draft report, we make revisions, and we deliver the final report to you. In a little bit more detail, we look at the start, we agree on the objectives, the scope, the resources. We identify the review team and your review priorities. We identify your stakeholders, and then we finalize the project plan at that stage. Then we go into the information gathering stage, which is stakeholder interviews and workshops and data gathering from your reports, your policies, and so forth. Identifying the main service and the sub-services. Then we go through and analyze all aspects of the services, including the delivery model, the finances, and the risk assessment. We develop a draft report. We get feedback on the draft report, and then we deliver the final report. Why work with us? We started Insight Consulting in 2008. We've weathered all sorts of storms, from the GFC through to, of course, like everybody, COVID and such. Everybody in the organization they're seasoned professionals and subject matter experts. We don't bait and switch. Some of our consultants still lecture at the master's level at various different universities, UNSW, University of Sydney, and Macquarie, and so forth. And we're very hands-on in how we work with organizations. We try and make it easy to do business. We tailor our solutions. We make sure that it's sustainable for you. Based on your availability, we go through a knowledge transfer process, and we make sure that we deliver value for money with clear outcomes and deliverables. We look forward to providing you with more details should you wish to provide us with questions or suggestions for more detailed information. So please be in touch, and thank you.